What a way to start a Monday. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone? Hey, Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here.
Hi. We're blowing it up in the chat with a little Alice Cooper. School's out for summer. I could have listened to that all morning.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but me and Kevin were just chatting this morning about how our houses are already in the insanity of children being home from school and dogs barking and everyone going in 15 different directions. So, whoever's living that life with us, we are there with you, right, Kevin?
Oh, 100%. I feel your pain, but we will get through it together.
We are super excited to be kicking off 60 Days of Summer, you guys. We did not do 60 Days of Summer last year. We did it the year before, and we had such a great time with you guys. So I was so glad to kind of revive this program. We have some really great stuff planned for you guys this summer. So stick with us. Let's do a little introductions. I am Angela Paoli, Vice President of Education and Broker Development. We have Kevin Rynes here too, Vice President of Broker Services and Development. We are from your coaching and training team, and we're super excited to be having you guys with us today. So the agenda today is we are going to give you a 60 Days of Summer overview. What is the program this summer? What does it look like? What can you expect? We'll talk a little bit about growing your business during the summer months. We'll talk a little bit about pipeline and also private to prominent, and we'll give you some good next steps. Every session will always end with a nice little summary of next steps and a little challenge for you guys to do for the week. So I'm going to kick it off to Kevin to give you an overview of the program.
All right, awesome. Thank you, and welcome everybody. So, kind of giving you the overview of the rundown of what this program's all about. We're starting today. It's going to run 60 days ish. All the way through August 11th. The idea will be a Monday Zooms. Every single Monday, we will be here 9 a.m., kind of setting your anchors, getting you ready to roll. We'll have some really great challenges and idea sharing. That this is a collaborative group. That's what we always like to do, right? Is engage you guys, share your stories, do a lot of those, and I'll get to that in just a minute. One of the perks of the 60 days is office parties. We want to do kind of a road show and bring coaching and training and Amy Core and all of us to you in your offices. Have a lot of fun this summer, really move the needle on your business, but have some fun along the way while we do that. So check your inboxes, save the dates when you get those, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you there. One of the main things with 60 Days of Summer is to celebrate the wins. So you all sharing your wins, your ideas, the successes you're having, not only with pipeline or private to prominent, but with you just prospecting in general, right? Everybody's favorite word, but the strength together, the more we talk about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and where we're able to move the needle on our business, the easier it is for the group. And so please just celebrate those wins and share those with us.
Okay, and we want selfie videos, you guys. In the past, we asked you guys to email summer@properties.com with just a summary of your summer success stories, but if you send us a selfie video, you get entered into a raffle drawing. So we really want to see your videos. We'll highlight you on Amy Core social media too. So it'll give you good content for your social. So please participate in that too.
Amazing. All right, so where to find us? I know we're on quite a few different platforms. So let's start with our agent app. Okay, we will always have that loop on the agent app, coaching and training. Our recommendation would be to star that loop on the agent app. It will push it all the way up to the top on your feed on that left column. Everything we're going to do will be posting on that loop on the agent app as well as on platform. When you log into platform, we have a coaching and training upcoming events section on there. We will post the schedule for 60 days. We'll post videos. Everything we're doing in here will be on both the agent app and on platform for you.
All right, and here's a little look at our summer schedule. So we have some good content planned for you guys. We would love to see you every Monday. Like Kevin mentioned, we have Monday morning Zooms for the next few weeks. If you can't make it, we get it. No big deal. We want it to be pretty fluid. But if you can make it, we'd love to have you every Monday morning. We'll also record these and put them on the app and put them on platform, like we said. But try to join us if you can. Each week, we have some good topics to get into. Today, like I said, we'll be talking about growing your business with pipeline and private to prominent, kind of introducing that tool and that program a bit. Next week, we'll talk about winning more listings. Week 3 will be a fun 4th of July challenge. Week 4 will be a breakout discussion. For those of you that were with Kevin and I last spring, We used to do kind of like a pipeline and prospecting challenge group, and we did a lot of these breakout discussion groups, and the agents loved these. So please join these. We'll put you in little rooms. We'll give you topics to talk about with each other. Gives you a good platform to idea share with each other. So that's week 4. Week 5 will be upping your buyer's game. Week 6, I'm going to bring on a Zenlist trainer. So for those of you who would like to brush up your Zenlist skills, we'd love to have you. Week 7, another breakout discussion. Week 8, we'll have a fun end of summer challenge for you all. And then, of course, on August 6th is our At Palooza, where we are celebrating At's 25th anniversary. That's a special event. We'd love to see you there. And then week 9, we'll wrap up the program and do another breakout discussion and kind of talk about what's to come for coaching and training for the rest of the year. All right. So we think that summertime is the perfect time to grow your business. This is why I think my favorite program out of all the coaching and training programs is 60 Days of Summer, because summer is such a fun time of year. I don't know about you, but I could not wait for the sun to come out and for me to get some invitations to some parties. So we think that it's a perfect time to be having fun, to be connecting with people, to be enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the weather, having fun with your family and your friends. But at the same time, it is a great time to grow your business. You're in front of so many people during the summertime that it's perfect. You have perfect opportunities on a weekly basis, sometimes even daily basis, to get in front of people, to have more conversations, to talk about real estate more, to connect, to share, and to have a great time. So we're going to talk about growing your business during the summer months, but we do think that you need tools and a plan, right? So today we're kind of introducing what tools and what plan you should be leaning into in order to give you more opportunities during the fun summertime. So the first tool we're going to talk about, and I think one of the most important tools, is pipeline. This is one of Kevin's favorite tools. He's going to talk in more detail about it. I really, really challenge you guys to lean into using your CRM and using your pipeline tool. This is a great tool for you to track your business and to keep all of the people you know organized. And I really want you guys to get into using pipeline, because it's going to be a big tool that we're using for fall business planning. So this is kind of like a really good intro to it and a good time for you to learn how to use it. So I'm going to kick it over to Kevin to talk more about pipeline.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's crazy to think that even like this time last year, we were running pipeline to prospecting challenges, and we were using Excel spreadsheets to track our pipelines in. And so a lot of you probably still have that and are doing that. Those of you who have had an opportunity to really get to know me, I think this is the best tool you have at your disposal. The pipeline tool on platform, it's integrated with your DMS, it's integrated with your CRM. It helps you stay extremely organized on everything. But most importantly, it's your best indicator on where your business is today and how you can project for future growth in your business. And everybody I've talked to, whether it's people who want one-on-one coaching or just overall growth in their business, it's all about being able to know, how do I plan for that? And so let's talk a little bit about the pipeline. Okay. We know it integrates. There's 4 columns in there. You can see on our screenshot right here. I always refer to the under contract and the closed columns, which are the ones all the way on the right, as your lag measures. You can't control when those are going to hit, right? I don't know when a property is going to go under contract or when it's going to close, but I know if I do all the right activities and stay on point with my clients and manage that transaction, I'm going to hit those targets. Okay. But as far as tracking your business and using it for growth, we need to focus on the warm and the hot sections of the pipeline. Okay. The way I've been describing the warm and the hot sections is: hot is anyone that you have had a personal, significant, and meaningful conversation with that has the intention or the ability to transact in the next 12 months, goes in the hot section. That'll give you the ability to look down the column and say, I've got 15 people worth $10 million in my hot pipeline right now. Okay. That's great if you guys have that. But the idea would be, if I want a $10 million business, I can't only have $10 million in my hot section of my pipeline. Those people who we're working with right now on really growth and tracking their business, the goal is 2 times what your end goal is. If I want $10 million worth of business closed at the end of the year, I want to work to build a $20 million hot pipeline. If you can get to that point, you're going to crush that $10 million goal. Okay. But beyond that, the hot is great if we're tracking the hot in the 12-month business, but we have to track our bullpen. What I mean by that is what's coming up behind the next year's worth of business, right? Anybody who raises their hand and says, Kevin, I'd like to talk to you about buying or selling real estate, should go into the warm section as a placeholder. Okay. Their name, whether they're a buyer or a seller, where they're looking to buy, what the approximate price point is on that, they go in the warm section. Okay. The pipeline should be, I referenced it as the heartbeat of your business. It should be what you look at first thing in the morning, maybe middle of the day, and last thing at night. Is everything flowing properly in there? Do I have control over my business? And is my pipeline working for me? That's the goal, is not for technology to be made where we say, here's this great tool and here's how you have to use it. It's built where let's make the tools work the way that's best for you, the broker, right? Because if you're not using the tool, it can't benefit you. If you're confused with something with it, reach out to me on the side. I'll be more than happy to bring you up to speed on kind of what you need to do to filter it. But this is how you really can see where your next paycheck's coming from. How much business can you close in Q3? What do you have in your bullpen that's ready to come for Q4 down the line? Right. And we're rolling, like Angela said, towards the back end of the year. And October is going to be all about business planning. Our goal would be for you guys to have at least a baseline of your pipeline and it working for you before you get into that time, so that you can set a realistic goal of what your business is going to be in 2026. And the pipeline flows year over year over year. That's the beauty of the pipeline. You don't have to redo all the work going into next year. All it does is wipes the closed business out. You're under contracts, hots and warms, all stay in place, and you use it for future planning. Okay. This tool will change how you operate your business, right? If I'm a broker who's really using the pipeline, I wake up in the morning, I have time blocking on my calendar for outreach to consumers. I look at my pipeline. Does everybody in my pipeline have what they need from me? Do I owe a call to a seller with an update? Do I need to update a buyer's search? Do I need to call on an inspection, right? I can look at that. If everyone in my pipeline has what they need from me, my only job for the day would be to add more business to my pipeline, find opportunities to feed into it. That's how you get growth in your business. That's how you don't get those peaks and valleys in your sales, right? If you can constantly feed your pipeline and monitor it and man it, you will see the results in your pipeline.
Kevin, we have a good question in the
Yes.
chat. Realtor Anna is asking, can the commission be updated automatically? That's a really good question, Anna. What can be updated automatically is when you put like your volume goals in, there's some coding on the back end that will actually spit out what your outreach needs to be, and it'll actually track the volume goals. The commission goals, though, need to be entered manually. So when you're putting in information, we always recommend you start with adding contacts into your CRM. That's where you put the contact in and you make sure you're filling out all the fields. You're telling us, is it warm? Is it hot? All of the information goes into the CRM. We'll then feed and categorize into the pipeline, right? But if you're wanting to do the commission, you have to edit the card and put in your estimated commission for that. And then it'll track it for you. So that's more of a little manual process. Hope that answers your question, but we do have training on it too. So we definitely recommend you taking some training sessions on it on Ad Academy. Kevin, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, there was another question in here, like where would you put somebody who's paused their home search in their pipeline? From my own personal perspective, and you guys, the pipeline is yours. And so make the pipeline the way that it makes sense to you. I think the easiest way to understand it is hot is 12 months and warm is everything beyond that. If somebody pauses their home search and they're no longer going to be buying in a rolling 12-month scale, that means 12 months from today, June 16th. If they're no longer in there, I can move them to warm. So that they stay in that bullpen as a placeholder. I get a lot of questions from brokers of, I've had people who came to an open house or raised their hand and said, I wanted to talk to you about selling real estate. And then I could never follow up with them or get them to respond to my outreach. Should I remove them from my pipeline? If you've exhausted all of your opportunities, some people are ones that want to take them off. I'm one that I'd rather have them in that warm section of the pipeline. So it reminds me, can I come up with something that's of value to them? If private to prominence top of mind and I'm searching for off-market opportunity, maybe I can find something that knocks them off that fence post. So I wouldn't be so quick to remove just yet, but I would be comfortable with you taking people from hot to warm and keeping that one fluid motion for you. Okay.
I don't ever like taking people out of my pipeline. I feel like there's always opportunity, right? Even if they're
Absolutely.
not actively looking, but you've had conversations, or maybe they got on the fence, or, they've asked you some questions about real estate, right? That's perfect for warm. So use that like warm farm for kind of people who, like Kevin said, maybe aren't super hot, aren't going to close in the next 12 months, but are worth keeping in touch with.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about, all right, so the benefits of the pipeline. Obviously, it helps you stay extremely organized. Okay. Once you get these systems down and all the one-on-one coaching that I'm doing with brokers, like you might have seen the Ignite coaching stuff that's out there, where this is the baseline of what we're using with one-on-one paid coaching. We're using CRM for them to manage their database and the pipeline for them to manage their actual business. You have to have systems that work for you. So organize your workflows in your CRM and your DMS. It will help you stay extremely organized in your pipeline. It will help you with your client management and satisfaction. It's impossible if you're looking at your pipeline and really saying, does everybody have what they need from me, not to have that outreach to them, right? You should have regularly scheduled calls weekly with every seller. You should be looking at all your buyers who are in there and saying, why hasn't this buyer pulled the trigger yet? Are they getting buyer remorse? Are they getting beat up in this market right now? If it's just MLS, which Angela is going to go into deep detail on in private to prominent, how can I find opportunities that make them feel more comfortable, have a better opportunity if it's off market PLN or just a true pocket, right? And so use that for that success. It will track your performance. Okay. The brokers who are really using this right now, when we get in and we really start analyzing their pipeline, we can break it out. If you're diligent in putting in client's name, approximate price point, approximate commission, and approximate close date, you can look at it and say, here's my Q3, here's my Q4, and here's my Q1 business of 2026. For a lot of people, you've never been able to see that before in your life. That's a scary thing in a commission-based business. When you don't know where your next paycheck's coming from, you don't know how to plan your spending for marketing, you don't know what's coming in, the pipeline will give you that information. It might not give it to you today. It's a process, right? When you start putting things in there, it's where do I get that information? Go into Zenlist. Every client you have in Zenlist, make sure they're in your pipeline. Every client you have in a search on MLS, make sure they're in your pipeline. Every notebook you take notes in, right? I used to be one who had 15 notebooks with me at any time. Look at your notebooks, jot it down. It's a piece at a time to get you to that point, but it will track your performance. It will aid you with forecasting on what you're doing, and it will keep you accountable to yourself, to your business, because you are the CEO of your own company, right? This is what helps you track it and stay on point with it. Okay. And then,
How
like I
about
said,
those of you with paper napkins that you make notes on?
I'm a million. Yeah. If you get
Those
stuck
go
and
in
you
your
have
pipeline too?
questions, yeah, ding me, call me, text me. I will bring you up to speed on it because this is your best tool. Okay. Private to prominent. I'm going to let Angela kind of tee it up on that. We have done a great amount of training. I hope a lot of you were able to make it to those trainings. If you haven't, Angela will kind of give you a breakdown of a virtual one that we have coming up in the future. But this is your best friend right now. This is an amazing opportunity for outreach and to really add people to that pipeline. And I'm going to let Angela take you through that.
So private to prominent, hopefully you've been to one of our training sessions. We've been doing them for all of the offices and all of the regions. If you have, awesome. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you have not, we do have a virtual session coming this Friday in case you missed an in-person session. And we highly recommend that you join that one because it's going to make a lot more sense what I'm about to say if you've been through the training. But we think that leaning into our private to prominent program is going to give you a really good opportunity to build that business. And it's been a tough market for a few years, right? So we needed to find other opportunities that made more sense, that gave us the edge, gave us a leg up, and private to prominent is just that. And what we love about the program is that it puts consumer choice first. We're going to be doing what's best for your clients, right? There's some other brokerages that kind of have these mandated ways to market properties. There's other brokerages that have no ways to market properties. There's Zillow who wants to control the world and mandate how agents market properties, right? But what Ad Properties believes is that we want to do what's best for our clients and to give them choices, right? And we want to do that at the same time as highlighting what makes us better than the competition. leaning into your tools, leaning into your unique value proposition, leaning into all of the compelling advantage points that you get by arming yourself with at properties, the number one brokerage in Chicagoland. There's a lot of really good selling points that you can use when you're marketing your business, when you're having your discussions. Lean into those things, right? What makes you better than the people you're competing against? And to just give a very high, because there's a lot of details with this program, but to give a very high level, the benefits for our sellers is a phased marketing approach, which I'll get into on the next slide. But it's really giving them the option of, hey, you don't have to go straight to Zillow, right? You don't have to go straight onto the public MLS. There's actually other options that we can look at first that may make more sense for you. So benefits for sellers is that custom phased marketing approach. And then the benefits for buyers, there's a lot of benefits working with you for buyers, but we think the biggest one right now, and especially in our private to prominent program, is you offering access to that hidden inventory. So let's go to the next slide, and then I'll give you a visual of kind of what this program it looks like. So private to prominent is an individualized program for sellers and buyers that puts consumer choice and your unique value proposition at the forefront of your business. So an iceberg is a nice visual for this program. And at the tippy top is the public MLS, right? What we refer to as the standard MLS. That is where everything that goes in there goes straight to those third-party sites, right? Like Zillow, like Realtor.com, like Redfin. That's the tip of the iceberg. Everybody can see that, right? But just below the surface, we think are opportunities that are worth exploring. And below the surface are things like the private listing network, the PLN, ZenList. And going even a bit deeper are those true pocket and exempt listings, right? And so the whole concept of private to prominent is that for a seller, we want to offer them a phased marketing approach where we start in a pocket and exempt status, right? That is truly when it's listed nowhere. It is not public. This is word of mouth marketing. This is putting stuff on the @agent app. This is keeping this with our colleagues, right? This is offering us the ability to test our price, to generate demand, to get feedback, right? And then moving our way up to the PLN, now opening it up to the brokerage community. A little bit more eyeballs on the property, those agents that are actually looking in the PLN, right? Agents that have qualified buyers are looking at this point. And so that's moving up to the PLN, generating a lot of interest and buzz and demand before we go to our third step, which is the public MLS. And then again, feeding to those third-party websites, going into the public MLS with a great price that makes sense, that we've tested, going into the public MLS with a lot of really great feedback and opinions from the broker community. And that's kind of how the three phases look like for when we're approaching sellers. And then on the buy side, same concept, right? Your biggest differentiator is that you can offer access to that hidden inventory. So if we're not using those three phases, namely the pocket and exempt phase and the PLN phase, if we're not doing that on the list side and getting our sellers to start there with marketing, we're kind of not doing ourselves any favor on the buy side. Because on the buy side, we have access to all that hidden stuff, right? So that's our biggest differentiator of working with buyers and of differentiating ourselves between us and other agents, right? So that's kind of the concept of how private to prominent works. Again, this makes sense if you've sat through our training. If you haven't, please join the training on Friday. We'll be doing it virtually and also posting it in Ad Academy. We think that there are so many good concepts in this program to build your business during the summer months. So we're going to lean into it a bit, and we're going to talk about the seller side. We're going to talk about the buyer side. We're going to brush up on our tools. We're going to brush up on our marketing, and that's also going to be integrated into 60 days of summer. Kevin, anything to add to that long-winded explanation I just gave?
No, I think it's great. We had a couple questions on when the training is going to be on Friday and where to find the Zoom link. We're going to put out a message to you guys, just letting you know the exact time the Zoom link will be in there. with it on that. Yeah, I mean, I think private to prominent is great. I love the visual. That was another question that came through in the chat. Kim, will we be able to get this slide, or will we be able to get this visual? Marketing's working right now on the collateral on the back end for you guys to be able to use. You will have marketing all about private to prominent, how to use that with not only your sellers but as well as your buyers. This visual, I think, is a great piece for that. If I was sitting down with a seller, I would be using this visual as the tip of the iceberg is our marketing opportunity once we hit the MLS. If we hit the MLS, we only have an opportunity to market it in one phase, and that's third party, every eyeball, but your home needs to be perfect. Underneath the surface for the sellers, it's a marketing opportunity. Not where are they going to sell their home, not where's the best place for it, but what opportunities do we have to market as a pocket versus a PLN versus a public MLS? That's the most important piece on the seller side. The buyer side, I think this visual would, if I was a buyer in a market right now, this visual would be a huge eye opener for me. Where if I have a buyer and I'm thinking I don't need to sign an agreement and be tied to commission, I have access to everything on my own. This visual tells me I do not. I only have access to a small segment of the market right now without a broker like Angela or Kevin or an app properties broker who's going to be able to show me what's beneath the surface. I'm going to lose more than I'm going to win. And that's a huge advantage for you guys to use in your conversations.
One thing I want to add to that is we also think that this program is awesome and helping you get paperwork signed, right? It's going to remove roadblocks up front with sellers and buyers, show the advantages of working with you right out of the gate, right off the bat, and make it easier for you to get that paperwork signed, right? And I don't know about you, but I think all of you guys want more listings in the market right now. And so we think that this is a really great way to uncover more inventory as well. So more to come on that. We'll be talking more about a private to prominent with sellers next week.
All right, so next step. So what do we do from here? Okay, so this week's challenge would be for you guys to watch the pipeline and just more than anything, get comfortable with pipeline. There is a course on Ad Academy for you to watch and get in there. I would recommend just jumping into platform, looking at your pipeline and taking a look at what's there. Okay. Do things look accurate? Do they look correct? You have the ability to add people to your pipeline without having to go through the CRM or the DMS. You will see things in your pipeline that were fed from those programs, as well as, ad opens and some others that are there. Clean it up. Take a look at it. Do the eyeball test or the nose test, right? If it doesn't look right and doesn't smell right, it's not accurate information. So clean it up. You need to get it to a point where it's working for you. So that's our big ask right now. Watch it, jump in there and start working on it. There's no world, those of you who haven't jumped into pipeline are going to be done having your pipeline finished by next week's course. It is literally a work in progress. It's a little bit at a time, day by day, to get it to a baseline where it's working for you. And so take your time. Don't get discouraged. Come to us with any questions that you have. Okay. Private to prominent, review the materials. If you haven't attended one of the courses yet, stay tuned for Friday's course. That's going to be at 11 o'clock out there. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions that are coming along, or if you have some of those awesome selfie videos with your success stories, we have an email that we set up for summer@appproperties.com. That will be all of our summer successes. That's where we will ask you to send everything for us, including those selfie videos, in order to be entered into the raffle. And so please use that email address. And our next upcoming meeting will be Monday next week, Monday the 23rd at 9 a.m. And you can use that same Zoom link that you're using right now.
Awesome. Megan, awesome. She said we've been working on our pipeline for the last couple of months with the one-on-one program, and it takes time, but it's so worth it. Everyone can do this. Yes, you can. All right. So we're at the 9:30 mark already. We're getting you guys out on time. We love to end with some fun. So here's a cute little quote. Summer calories don't count, but commission checks do. I think you would all agree that your commission checks matter, right? So make it count this summer, you guys. Lean into our program. We're happy you joined us on the first session. We hope to see you next Monday and make it a great week. Thanks, everyone.